Well, I am so glad I found you. I was out here on my own, couldn't find a single place where I could feel at home. I was just amazed to see that you'd been here for so long. Grateful that you persevered. I wrote you all this song. I was thinking mango thoughts in a meatloaf town. The food for thought was all the same. It really brought me down. Nothing on the heavenly buffet line was satisfying my appetite for truth and right. I'm sitting here just sighing. Everybody else seemed fine with blue jello, green peas, banana pudding, nothing spicy, no blitzes, no Vietnamese. I was craving jalapeno talk just to soothe my soul. Saying unsurprising things was taking all my self-control. Glad the talk is straight here. Though a lot of the people are not. We got patriots and protesters, and that ain't all. We got atheists and redneck Hindus. We got pagan Buddhist Jews. Some of us like the Christian songs, some just believe the blues. Mango thoughts in this meatloaf town. Now my soul is on a roll. I got you folks all around. We got us a feast for the spirit, a feast for the mind. We speak the truth, walk in love. We remember to be kind. Well, that's what the ending would be if I were a sweet and earnest person. And Lord knows I do try. But here's the real ending. We got us a feast for the spirit, a feast for the mind. But in case of rapture, pack a snack, 'cause we'll be left behind.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Chuck Bauer, and I'm a member of the Board of Trustees of this congregation. Welcome to all of you. The Unitarian Universalist Fellowship is a welcoming community, encouraging religious freedom, nurturing individual spiritual and ethical growth, celebrating diversity, and promoting a just and sustainable world. If you would like to learn more about this fellowship, please look at our website at uufe.org and join us after the service for our coffee hour on the far side of the building. For the listening enjoyment of all, we ask at this time that you please turn off all cell phones, and if you need hearing support, please ask for help at the sound desk back in the corner. I have a number of announcements. First, Reverend Dan will be offering Soul Matters small groups again this year. These intimate groups explore various spiritual themes themes throughout the year, and participants reflect and share with each other on what they've learned and experienced. Last year, the group was small, but it was very enjoyable. If you would like to participate this year, contact Reverend Den before September 1st to be put on the list for more information. And my wife Karen attended last year and loved it. So there's a great endorsement and testimonial. Reverend Dan will also be leading a 6-session adult RE class called Long Strange Trip. This is a 6-part video series by Ron Cordes that explores the history of Unitarian and Universalist thought and practice from the early liberal strands in our faith at the beginning of the Christian era to what we know today. Each session will include watching a 45-minute to an hour video followed by discussion. This is a great opportunity to learn more about our UU history and understand more about what makes us UUs. Classes will be held Thursday evenings via Zoom and will be available to both UUCEL, UU Church of East Liberty, and us. Exact dates to be determined. Please email Reverend Dan by September 10th if you wish to participate. Also, check out the social justice table in the gathering place back in the corner for information about another group you can join if interested. Brave Angels is a citizens organization uniting red and blue Americans in a working alliance to depolarize America. Angie Anders on the Social Justice Committee is a member of this group and can answer more questions. Finally, for today, this afternoon, we are celebrating Phil Campanoli's life in a memorial service. So, visitation begins at 3 p.m. The service is at 4 with reception afterwards. And another special note or two that goes along with that, Phil's favorite color was red, and he asked that that be the dress code for their service and reception. Even if all you have is a red tie, red socks, or bandana, that would be a small, great way to honor him. And one additional note, for additional parking for Phil's celebration of life, keep in mind that we have spaces we can use at Woodlawn Environmental Center, Woodlawn Nature Center, down here at the corner. And those who can make that walk easily are encouraged to make use of that parking option. Thanks.
I'm back. It's good to be back. Missed you guys. Come into this space of hope and healing. Come into this circle of care and commitment. Here we do not pretend that life or community is always easy. We know there are sharp edges and tender places. We know this fellowship has walked through hard seasons. We know there have been wounds, and we honor the courage it took to keep going. And we celebrate the choices you made at our last annual meeting, the choice to put your promises into words, to adopt the covenant of right relations that says who you long to be together. So this morning, we turn our hearts again to those promises, to the love that sustains us, and to the beloved community we are still becoming. So come, friends, let us enter into worship together.
Good morning. Whoops, yeah. We light this chalice as a symbol of the covenant we share. It reminds us that what binds us together is not creed or doctrine, but the promises we freely make to one another. Here, we strive to be gentle with one another, to respect our differences, and to treat each other with kindness and care. May this flame remind us that even when we stumble, we return again and again to love. Here we rekindle not only a light, but the warmth of our shared life together. And now if we can say together our unison covenant, it's written in your service. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. This is our covenant. And I invite you now to rise in body or spirit, and spirit even, as we sing our opening hymn, number 1, May Nothing Evil Cross This Door.
Faith made strong, the rafters will withstand the battering of the storm. This heart through all the world grows chill will keep you warm. Peace shall walk softly through these rooms, touching our lips with holy wine, till every casual corner blooms into a shrine. With laughter down the raucous shout, and though these sheltering walls are thin, may they be strong to keep hate out and old love in. Thank you.
I have a lovely little story today. Who likes porcupines? I saw a live one once. It was amazing. Well, this is a story of the porcupines. One very cold winter, a group of porcupines found themselves shivering in the snow. They knew they needed warmth, so they huddled close together. And at first it worked. They were warmer, but soon their sharp quills began to poke and scratch one another. Ouch, they cried, and they pulled apart. But when they separated, the cold wind bit into them again. And they began to freeze and to suffer, so once more they crept together. Again, the quills pricked, and again they pulled apart. Can you imagine snuggling next to a porcupine? Well, this happened several times. And then at last, the porcupines discovered something very, very important. If they were careful and gentle, they could arrange themselves so their quills didn't hurt quite so much. They couldn't get rid of their quills, obviously. They were part of who they were. But by moving slowly and paying attention, They found just the right way to be together. And so the porcupines survived the winter. They learned that being in community meant balancing closeness with care, warmth with gentleness, and love with respect. Like porcupines, we humans sometimes poke one another with our sharp words or actions. But if we stay patient and gentle, we can find ways to live together in warmth and love. That's why we have a covenant of right relations. It's our way of promising to treat each other with kindness, respect, honesty, and care, so that even when we sometimes bump into each other, we can stay together as a warm and loving community. And now we will say goodbye to our kids as they go to their class. And I invite you to please rise in body or spirit as we sing hymn 131, Love Will Guide Us.
Peace has tried us, hope inside us, will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak before thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us. Peace has tried us. Hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. Thank you.
This morning, this is the fourth Sunday of the month, and pretend my name is Janelle, because this is her space that she has written, and we do this every fourth Sunday of the month. This week, the fourth Sunday of the month, we recognize joys and sorrows of our global community. All that is shared today comes from beyond ourselves, whether from the other side of the county or the other side of our hemisphere. These events affect us, even if indirectly, by impacting the world we live in. This practice helps us to bring and keep our awareness of losses and gifts, pain and beauty from beyond our beloved community, and allows us to bear witness. And normally we would take the microphone around, but I'm not walking too well, so I think if people would just raise their hand. Oh, you can carry? So please raise your hand, and Janelle will bring you the microphone. Briefly speak the event or situation that you're calling to our attention. If you have any questions about what someone has shared, please direct them to that person after the service. Please do be brief. We have personal sharings on the third Sundays, and avoid politically charged events that we may each value differently. And I'll start by saying, as a sorrow, that what recent, and I know this sounds political, but it's more than that, holding all parties involved in your heart and thoughts for a rapid settlement of the war in Ukraine and stop the killing, and that they may be able to hold most of their country. All of it would be wonderful, and as a blessing, we've had some good rains lately, and the temperature isn't 100, which is, to me, a lovely blessing. Okay, anybody have a blessing or a sorrow that they would like to share?
I had a dream that all the cruise ships that in the world would go over to Gaza, all the vacation cruise ships, and take on board all the people and feed them, and then Israel could go in and clean out their underground.
Hi, I'm happy to announce that Woodlawn Nature Center will be open Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays from 3 to 5, or from 2 to 5, open to the public, free admission. So please come and see us. And by the way, this is our 60th anniversary year, so we're going to have a celebration coming up.
This is a blessing. In California, they've found a new way to do some desalination, which is going way under, like a pipe way down deep, deep, deep in the ocean. And then the pressure of the water above it provides the energy needed for reverse osmosis, and it's like a lot cheaper than other desalination. And we'll probably provide fresh drinking water for quite a few cities.
Exciting. I just want to say that I know there are a lot of good people in this world.
May the light and warmth come to all who both need and bring it. May we grow in awareness of our global community and our care of it, and may we ever be grateful for all that we have been given.
I invite you to join me in a moment of reflection and quiet as we center inward this time. Spirit of love, we give thanks for this gathered community, a place where we can draw near to one another for warmth, and where we can practice the art of living gently together. Like the porcupines in the story, we know that sometimes we poke each other with our sharp edges. We say things we regret. We misunderstand. We forget to be kind. But still we return. We come back because we need each other. Because we are warmer, stronger, and more alive when we are together. Spirit of life, help us to be patient with one another. Help us to speak truth with love, to listen deeply, to repair what has been broken, and to forgive with open hearts. May the covenant we share not just be words on paper, but a living promise, guiding us, shaping us, and reminding us that we are held in the great circle of love. And blessed be. I'm going to ask you to remain seated as we sing hymn 1037, We Begin Again in Love. It's a little different kind of hymn. You just have one recurring response. We forgive ourselves and each other, and we begin again in love. That's your only part. And then other words will be spoken. I think we have a video that will help us out.
We forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love.
For remaining silent when a single voice would have made a difference.
We forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love.
For each time that our fears have made us rigid and inaccessible.
We forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love.
For each time we have struck out in anger without just cause.
We forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love.
For each time that our greed has blinded us to the needs of others.
We forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love.
For the selfishness that set us apart and alone.
We forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love.
For falling short of the admonitions of the Spirit.
We forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love.
For losing sight of our unity.
We forgive ourselves and each
For those and for so many acts
both evident and subtle, which have fueled the illusion of separateness.
Our loose plate sharing today is for ACLU of Indiana. Please enjoy this musical interlude while the offering is being collected. And I'm just going to stay up here.
Unitarian Universalist communities are not held together by creed or doctrine, but by covenant, by the promises we freely make to one another about how we will live, work, and grow together. Covenant is not about perfection, but about intention, accountability, and love. Today we affirm our shared promises by speaking aloud our covenant of right relations that we adopted last spring as a way of refamiliarizing ourselves with it and to remind us to help it guide us through this coming year and years ahead. May these words remind us of who we long to be together and guide us when we stumble along the way. Pam will start it off, and your words will be on the screen.
That's why I didn't sit down. As the community of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Elkhart, we believe that love is the spirit of this fellowship. We happily welcome all who come to join us, no matter who they are, what they believe, where they're from, what they look like, or who they love. However, though we do welcome all, we do not welcome all behaviors. We're guided by the beliefs and we're guided by the beliefs and the values set forth by the UUA. We strive for a safe, loving, and caring community free from bullying, aggression, discrimination, intolerance, and disrespect. Therefore, so that we
be respectful,
and staff to be even if we do not agree, accept criticisms, assuming good intent from others, honor the democratic process, be direct and thoughtful when conflicts and disagreements do arise, and engage with the other party in a respectful manner. Avoid cooperate with the Committee on Shared Ministry should a conflict need mediation. Respect boundaries of others, mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. We listen to one another, especially in disagreement. Be honest. Agree to abide by the disruptive person's policy as set by the board.
Thank you. And may the words of this covenant live not only on our lips, but also in our hearts. May they guide us in our daily living, steady us when we falter, and call us back when we lose our way. And may the spirit of love, ever ancient, ever new, bind us together as we build the beloved community here in our fellowship and beyond. Friends, I want to begin my sermon with something very important. When I look at this congregation, when I look at you, what I see is resilience, courage, and love. You've been through a lot together. You've faced conflict. You've endured a painful separation from a former minister, and you carried yourselves for 3 years without ministerial leadership. That alone deserves recognition. Many congregations would have faltered under the weight, but not you. You kept showing up. You supported one another. You did the hard work of staying in community, even when it wasn't easy. And then when I arrived last year, I didn't find a broken congregation as I had been told existed here. I found a congregation that had been bruised, yes, but also one that had chosen healing. A congregation that had already begun tending to its own wounds slowly and faithfully. And part of that healing became visible at our last annual meeting when you as a congregation voted to adopt this covenant of right relations that we just recited. It was courageous and deeply faithful. You said to one another, we have learned from the past and we want to be intentional about how we move into the future. That's no small thing. And I want to honor it before we say another word today. So here we are. Things are calmer. Conflict has lessened. Folks are getting along. And so it's natural to hear someone ask, if things are going pretty well, why do we need a covenant of right relations? That's a fair question. And I think the best answer to it is this. Because covenant is not something we create only in times of trouble. Covenant is something we hold on to so that when trouble comes again, and it will, we already have tools to face it with love. It's the difference between being reactive and being proactive. Think about it like, brushing your teeth. None of us wakes up in the morning, at least most of us, finds a cavity and says, well, I guess I'd better start flossing now. No, we floss before the cavity. We brush before the decay sets in, not because it guarantees we'll never have dental problems, but because it's healthier, wiser, and frankly, less painful to prevent than to repair. Makes sense. So let's talk about one of the unhealthy habits that sneaks into every congregation sooner or later. Every congregation. Triangulation. You know what that is? Triangulation is when you talk to someone about another person instead of talking with the original person directly. Instead of speaking to the person you have an issue with, you bring in a third party, usually hoping they'll sympathize with you or carry the message for you to the other person. It usually goes something like this. Can you believe what so-and-so said in the committee meeting? Unbelievable. Somebody needs to say something. And the unspoken hope is, and maybe that somebody is you. Now, it's human. We've all done it. I do it still, and I know better. It feels easier, safer, but in the long run, triangulation eats away at trust. It spreads misunderstandings. It makes conflicts larger and more tangled than they ever needed to be. And let me tell you, if you want a quick way to make a minister's hair turn gray faster, triangulation is it. And yes, I know I already had a head start before I came here. I don't want any more gray hairs. So our covenant calls us to something better. Be direct and thoughtful when conflicts or disagreements do arise, and engage with the other party in respectful manner. Don't go to Billy Joe Jim Bob and start moaning and groaning about what Sally Sue did. Go to Sally Sue. Be direct, but also be kind and respectful. It's hard to do, isn't it, when you're mad? But we could do it. Avoid triangulations and gossip in relationships, please. That's just not good church practice. It's not good life practice. It's about honoring one another enough to speak the truth face to face in love. And please, if you ever have an issue with me, don't go to Chuck or the board or anybody. Come to me. I want to talk to you face to face and listen to you. There's another unhealthy habit I've noticed. And again, it's human. Some folks simply avoid conflict altogether. Something happens, and rather than address it, we tell ourselves, it's fine, I'll just let it go. You Midwesterners. And sometimes we really do let it go, but often we tuck it away inside like a splinter, and splinters don't dissolve on their own, they fester. I got one right there. They irritate and they grow into resentment. Avoiding conflict can look peaceful on the outside, but inside it builds up pressure until it finally has nowhere else to go and it bursts. I heard that. They irritate, they grow into resentment. Avoiding conflict can look peaceful on the outside, but when it bursts, the fallout is hard to repair. Our covenant recognizes this too. So we focus on healing, repairing harm, and restoring damaged relationships. That means we don't pretend conflict never happens. We don't sweep it under the rug. Instead, we face it carefully, respectfully, and with the intention to heal rather than blame. Heal rather than blame. I want to pause here because everything I've said so far could sound like a lecture on conflict management. Useful, yes. But covenant is more than good psychology or healthy group dynamics. Covenant is also spiritual. Covenant is theological. Covenant is at the very heart of Unitarian Universalism. Remember, we are not a people of creed. We do not recite some doctrinal statement every Sunday. We are not bound together because we all agree on God or Scripture or even truth. We are bound together because we make promises. We are a people of covenant. That means what holds us here is not what we all believe, and God knows we don't believe the same things, but that we promise to walk together in love even when we believe different things. And that's really powerful. It's countercultural in a world that says, if you don't agree with me, I can't be in relationship with you. In a world where relationships break apart so easily, covenant says, we may disagree, we may hurt one another, but we will not walk away. We will repair, we will restore, and we will return again and again to love. We forgive ourselves and each other, and we begin again in love. So this is holy work. This is our theology. It's important to be clear. Covenant does not mean perfection. None of us will live up to this covenant every day. I won't. You won't. None of us will. We will gossip sometimes. We'll lose our tempers sometimes. We will avoid a conversation we should have had, and we will make mistakes. I guarantee it. But covenant is not about perfection. It's about intention. It's about coming back again and again to the promises we have made. And as the old hymn says, though we've broken our vows 1,000 times, still we return to love. Now, some folks may worry that adopting a covenant of right relations is like creating a rule book, something that could be used to shame or punish. She didn't speak nicely to him. But friends, that is not what a covenant is for. It's not a hammer. It's not a set of punishments waiting to be handed down. It's a tool, a guide, a mirror that helps us see who we want to be. It's not meant to control us. It's not meant to free us from old patterns of harm, to free us to be more authentic, more courageous, and more loving. And now, while covenant is not a rule book, it doesn't mean anything goes. As a congregation, you have wisely adopted a disruptive person policy, which names specific behaviors that will not be tolerated. Behaviors that threaten the safety, health, or trust of this fellowship. And you have also named the Committee on Shared Ministry as the body that helps arbitrate when conflicts cannot be resolved directly. How many people of you know about the Committee on Shared Ministry? Okay, good. For those of you who did not raise their hand, we have one. The Committee on Shared Ministry is important. If someone is deemed a, quote, disruptive person, the Committee on Shared Ministry does not simply cast them out. The first work of the committee is to always attempt to bring that person back into covenant. Because while we welcome all people, we do not welcome all behaviors. We hold people accountable, not to punish, but to restore. That's the heart of covenant. It's about calling one another back to our best selves. And one more thing. Covenant is not for those people. It's for all of us. For the minister, for the board, for the committees, for the longtime member, and the first-time visitor. Because every one of us is both capable of hurting and capable of healing. Every one of us has sharp quills sometimes. And every one of us needs the warmth of community. Again, covenant is not about pointing fingers at them. It's about holding hands with each other and saying, this is who we want to be together. So I want you to hear this, if nothing else. This covenant is not a sign that you are failing. It is a sign that you are growing. It is not a reminder of old wounds. It is a promise of new life. It is not a burden. It is a gift. You are already living into this covenant. You are already healing and rebuilding trust. And now together you are choosing to name your promises out loud so that they can guide you not just when things are easy, but also when things are hard. So may we hold these words not only on our lips, but also in our hearts and the way we treat one another today, tomorrow, and every day. May that be so. Now, I want to end with a little responsive prayer for the work that our Committee on Shared Ministry is tasked with. It's vital work. And we're fortunate to have Terry Mark, Dwight Fish, and Katrina Konopinski to serve on this committee. They are wise and compassionate. They care deeply about the welfare and health of our fellowship. And I would like to ask them, if they're here, to please stand so that we may honor them. 1, 2, yeah. And Dwight, don't forget about Dwight as well. So, let's do this reading. Spirit of love, we give thanks today for the quiet, steady work of our Committee on Shared Ministry. Their calling is not an easy one. To listen when tensions rise, to hold steady when trust feels fragile, to guide us back when we have strayed from our promises. I'll read it. Guide us back to love. Bless them with courage when truth needs to be spoken, with compassion, when wounds need to be tended, with wisdom, when choices are difficult. Guide us back to love. May they never forget that their work is holy work, not to punish but to restore, not to divide but to heal, not to tear down but to build up the beloved community. Guide us back to love. And may we as a congregation support them with our trust, our honesty, and our own willingness to live the covenant we have created together. Guide us back to love. Amen and blessed be. And please rise as you're willing and able for our final hymn 299, Make Channels for the Streams of Love.
Stand, please. Thank you. Make channels for the streams of love where we may boldly run. And love has overflowing streams to fill them every one. But if at
invite you to join with me as we extinguish our chalice. Words are in your order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Go forth now from this place, carrying the promises we have spoken today. Let them guide your words, shape your actions, and soften your heart when the world feels sharp. Go forth knowing that you are part of a community that will stumble and fall, but will return again and again to love. And may the spirit of love, stronger than any quarrel, deeper than any difference, wider than any boundary, hold us all now and always. Go in peace.